We want to see you from the inside. Not in some creepy Silence of the Lambs way. Promise. But this lesson is all about infrastructure, the behind-the-scenes planning and structural needs that will set your operation up for success. Organic and conventional grain farming have a lot of similarities. So we're going to focus on the differences that are more likely to influence infrastructure and equipment needs. These are a focus on crop rotation to protect soil resources and manage plant pests. Since you're not spraying the heck, can we say heck? Out of everything, the need for mechanical intervention as part of weed management. Because money can't buy everything, especially love and plant food inputs, it's key to optimize nutrient cycling and to grow some of your fertility. And you can generally expect no access to off-farm grain storage, particularly any that includes grain drying capacity. Those are some of the overarching differences, but each farm's infrastructure needs and farming plan will vary based on what we like to call gig. Oh, nobody calls it that? Okay. Geographic area and soil types, presence of irrigation, grain crops being grown, growing forage crops in the same land rotation, growing cover crops, sequences and combinations of food, feed, forage, and cover crops. For this discussion, we'll assume that most organic grain farmers will be growing both row crops and solid-seeded grain and oilseed crops. Now that we've hit the organic differences and the farm-by-farm variances, we want to talk top infrastructure and equipment needs. Our lawyers have advised us to say that these may not name all top infrastructure and equipment needs, as these are difficult to prioritize and include, but are not limited to a mentor and/or support team to ask for advice and guidance. Support is important. They don't even need to live near you. Visits are great, if possible, but Zoom is a thing. Am I muted? Hello, is this thing on? I hear like a dog barking. Primary and secondary tillage tools to create a weed-free seedbed for planting. Most farmers will need a more aggressive tool for terminating a hay crop or perennial cover crops, and a lighter weight tool for finishing the field and preparing seed beds. You may be able to hire for these operations, but timing of the finishing pass is especially critical just before planting. You'll also need a tool for early season blind cultivation and early season in-row weed management. For this, we ascribe to that old farmer wisdom: rotary hose before rotary bros. Especially with rockier soils and higher residue levels. For farmers with lower residue, a tine weeder should be sufficient. Both are useful, but only one is needed when beginning transition. Another need is a row crop cultivator with sweeps. You can teach an older cultivator new tricks, but always do a thorough assessment when buying used equipment. This is a great situation to use that experienced farmer mentor for advice. Older C-shank or S-tine cultivators may be useful for a first cultivation with a few weeds, but they get much less effective with larger weeds. It's also important to have some guidance assistance when row cultivating, listed from lowest to highest cost. Cultivation mirrors are simple and inexpensive, but won't help much on larger tractors. A guidance hitch, RTK steering for use with guidance hitch, which can make sure the tractor is operating within plus or minus 2 centimeters of its required position. Guidance camera for sensing the crop and weeds, in conjunction with RTK and guidance hitch. Make those weeds feel seen. You also can't just take your grain straight to the market anymore. Cinderella has to get cleaned, dried, and, well, stored before she can head to the sales ball. So you'll need some grain storage, handling, and monitoring equipment. First and second year certified crops may be able to be contracted for delivery straight from the field, or could be stored in wagons with screw-in aerators for temporary storage, maybe 1 to 2 months, but this isn't a long-term solution. Bins with appropriate floors and fans for in-bin drying for a separate grain dryer, a screened rotary grain cleaner. You'll also want a high-quality handheld moisture meter for settings for small grains and any crops you plan to grow. Lastly, a drill with grass seed attachment box. On many organic farms, the drill may cover more than the row crop planter, as it's used for both small grains and cover crops. Though in your first few years, you may choose to custom hire someone for these seeding operations. To review, here's our overarching infrastructure needs list. Fun fact, we haven't said you initially need an excellent planter and combine. That's because rural America is full of great planters and combines. Though, since the majority are on conventional farms, when you hire custom services, be prepared to clean the equipment before it enters your fields. We hope we've appropriately gotten inside of your operation. Now let us out. Please. Seriously, it's dark in here. Hey. Hello? Hello? Guys?